Hello and welcome to Cover 2 TV. It's the Week 14 preview show. I'm here with, of course, Steve Hall. I'm back after his one-game suspension. Jesus, Geno. Welcome back.
Yeah, I thought Gronkowski's hit was so bad that I should take a suspension as well.
I like that.
Yeah, it's very ethical of him.
He didn't appeal the decision.
He did, but I told him I upheld it, so it's fine.
The commish. Okay, so we're going to get into it. As always, we'll pick 4 games to go through in depth and detail. Then we'll take our patented spin around the league. I think we can give this up after the end of the season. I think so. I mean, like, I was the only person that did it properly.
I apologise.
The last few weeks it's just been me doing it, so I gave up on it.
Yeah, I forgot.
This is what they're tuning in for.
Spin around the ego. I just forgot. Sorry, I apologise.
There we go with it.
You half-arsed it. You didn't forget. You went.
Yeah, because
we
hands there, and it would have been swapping the paper, and it's a thing now. It wasn't a thing, and now it's a thing. But let's move on.
Okay, well we will, and we'll move on to the Eagles versus the Rams. Eagles have stayed on the West Coast for this game. They're 0-1 on the West Coast so far in this little 2-game period and stuff. Massive game at the weekend. Geno, how do you see this one going?
I thought the Rams to win. My feeling is there's too many fun things to do in LA that the players are going to be a little bit distracted staying there all week. I think that's a bit of a risk. You've seen Todd Gurley's tweet to the guy at which I thought was hilarious when he said, nah, go out and party, mate. Don't stay home. I just feel like the Rams, we know how well they can score. I can just see the Eagles coming out of this little West Coast slide 0-2.
Stay? Agree? Disagree?
I've picked the Rams, yeah, I have as well. Not so much for that reason, more I saw how Seattle dominated the Philadelphia offensive line without, Peters, with the Peters injury came to roost. They've been kind of skating by it for a while now, and it came home, and I think the Rams will just take that blueprint and run with it. So, and the Rams front seven is very, very good. We don't have to speak about how good Aaron Donald is, everyone knows, but Ogletree can blitz from linebacker. They've got Quinn. They've got plenty of pass rushes on that front seven where I think they're going to get after Carson Wentz, and ultimately I think that's where the game's going to be lost, because I agree. I think the Rams can pretty much score on everybody, especially at home, and I imagine they're going to do that, and I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, and I just think that one weakness is what tipped it over the edge for me.
Okay. I've picked the Eagles, and I've picked them to bounce back almost for the exact same reasons that you've picked them to lose, to be honest, is that now they've seen what a team can do on that size, and they'll scheme for the opposite of that. They'll expect the LA Rams to come like that, and I'm thinking that they're going to scheme the other side of the line. So they're going to be going down the right-hand side a lot more. I think we will see a little bit more of, obviously, Jay Ajayi, and you know what, I just back Carson Wentz to get back on the straight and narrow, and as I said on the whatever we're calling it, the overtime show yesterday, not the extra time show, you didn't see that, it's on the chopper room floor. As I said on that show yesterday, I don't think they're going to come out of this 0-2, and I think that people will start questioning in this Eagles side if they do go out 0-2 on this little slide, but for me, 1-1, that'll do it, and that proves that they're a great side in this league.
Listen, they're both very good teams. It's interesting, obviously, the quarterbacks. Obviously, Goff went first and Wentz went second. I maintained at the time Wentz is better, and I still maintain it. I just think in this game, I think that what Goff has to offer will be not so much what he has to offer, what he has to work with. Just tips the edge in him, and that I think his offensive line will just about slow the Eagles' pass rush down. I don't think he'll dominate because the Eagles' front seven's great. But what Goff's got is the ability to dump the ball off easier. I don't think Wentz has got that at the moment. He hasn't really got the dump off option. If he has, it's Jay Ajayi, or it's the Garrett Blunt, and that doesn't scare you in the passing game. Where I think Todd Gurley's excellent at that. He's probably him and Bell this season have been unbelievable at receiving the ball and taking it pretty far. Like so.
How do you see the running game going for the Rams?
Not great, if I'm honest. I think again I like the Eagles front seven. I think it's really good. I think the Rams might just use the short passing game a little bit like Tom Brady does in New England sometimes, where you almost throw short.
That as the run.
That's your running game, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, is that Todd Gurley's what makes the Rams tick, and the Eagles are set up to stop that with a great front seven and great linebackers. But I just think the secondary is what we've always thought of the Eagles as a bit weird. I think there's enough weapons for the Rams to really expose the Eagles secondary, especially how well Watkins is playing, which is kind of going under the radar a little bit. but he's been brilliant, and then you still got Cup started to, he had that little dip, he's went back now, and his Wood's going to be back to him now.
It's touch and go, but
So,
they just rotate guys.
Yeah.
They rotate the rookie whose name I've forgotten, and he's played well. So that's the main. Yeah, I agree. I think that you'll see a lot of dump offs from Carson Wentz, sorry, from Jared Goff, and the occasional big shot, big play downfield, and it could be. Listen, it's going to be a really good game, and we're going to be really interested to watch it.
High scoring game?
Yeah, I think so. I think both offenses are on fire, so I think I wouldn't be surprised if they both hit 30.
What about you, Jenna?
Yeah, I could easily see that happen. I could also easily see it being a defensive slugfest. I'm not convinced it's going to be a high scoring because I think both teams got a good defense, and I could just see who. And I think both teams are going to struggle to run the ball as well, which could be an issue. So I don't know whether it's actually going to be high scoring or not. I just think it's going to be close. I just think it's a total toss up, and it's just pick one and see how you do.
Okay. Okay, so it's split then. Both of those have gone for the Rams. I've gone for the Eagles. We'll move on then. Another big game. We've got Seattle versus Jacksonville. Seattle obviously second to the Rams in the NFC West, and we've got Jacksonville in the wildcard picture as well in the AFC. They're currently in 5th at the moment. They're 8-4. The Seahawks are 8-4. Two, I think, one good side and one better than average side, if I'm perfectly honest. Just about better than average. I've gone for the Seattle Seahawks in Jacksonville. They will get tax. I think that's a given. I think Russell Wilson invites that upon himself. And again, we spoke about it yesterday, Steve and Jenny, you weren't here, but you know, the way that Russell Wilson does drop a little bit too deep sometimes and gets his tackles in a little bit of trouble and stuff. I think that'll happen a lot with the Jaguars. I think they're sort of primed to take advantage of that. But then equally, if you get good Russell Wilson, he's going to win the game. And it came down for me to the best quarterback. It's that close for me.
Yeah, I pick Seattle as well. I'm not 100% confident in it, if I'm honest, because I do think I think Jacksonville will completely bury the run. I think they'll stop them altogether, and they're set up to defend the maverick Russell Wilson plays well. They cover exceptionally well man on man, so it's hard for the likes of Baldwin or Richardson or Lockett to get open even 5-6 seconds into the play, because the Jacksonville defense is that good on the back end, especially. I think, you know, Boye and Ramsey have been as good as anything in the league for a long time, that I've seen for a long time as duos go. Ultimately, I just don't trust Blake Bortles against the Seattle defense, and that's it. Where Wilson I don't think will throw too many interceptions. He won't give the ball away too much. Where he might not complete his passes, but I don't.
He'll just throw it out.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be as sloppy. Where I think I can see Blake Bortles throwing 3 or 4 interceptions quite easily against this Seattle defense. And although they are banged up on the back end and it's rotational players, they're still good enough, especially with a pass rush against a terrible Jacksonville offensive line in recent weeks to force those mistakes. And like I say, it's going to be a low scoring game. I think this is going to be the converse of what we said before. I don't see either offense doing loads. It could be a field goal here or there, but I think Blake Bortles is going to be ultimately what costs Jacksonville in this one.
Jenno, do you think Fournette will be able to get the run going against the Seahawks defence?
Well, I don't think he will, because I think that the Seahawks defence has played really well recently. We've just seen them take out Philadelphia, who were the best team in the league. Fournette struggled. I don't know whether he's still injured. There's the sort of issue there. And everyone can just stack the box against them. You just know, just put everyone against the running game, because Blake Bortles is not going to beat you throwing it. Even if you leave people wide open, he's still not going to hit them, still hit you instead for an interception, because he's that bad. He's the worst quarterback in the league, and it's not even close. So it's true though, isn't it?
No pulls, no punch.
he is pretty bad at the old NFL. Like.
Yeah, he's just garbage. I mean, when you have a quarterback saying, "I'm not a pure thrower of the ball,"
What are you quarterback for?
Why are you quarterback?
It's a shame, innit? Because they could be so good if they had. I keep saying this all. Put Andy Dalton or Kirk Cousins or any, you know, Tyrod Taylor, any middle of the road quarterback on that team, and they're a playoff caliber team. But his mistakes, and it's crazy because he doesn't have to do it, and that's what does my head in. And I think the coaching staff need to have a word in that. Even if they're behind, they should run the ball. Unless they're like down by, you know, multiple scores, then you have to start throwing, obviously. But he's thrown the ball like over 30 times in the last couple of games, and I know they've won a few of them and they've lost a few of them. That's a bad recipe. If you beat bad teams by doing it, you won't beat good teams, because, you know, his receiving core is banged up. Marquise Lee's probably the number 1 now, and I said on last show, he's playing well, but he isn't a number 1 in the NFL. He's a 2 or a 3, and Blake Bortles is absolute crap. So that's their issue. Even if Fournette's going at 2 or 3 yards a carry, I think you've got to just stick with it.
Yeah.
and you've got to just maintain it and get yourself into 3rd and 4s and 3rd and 5s, and then maybe throw the little slant passes or whatever, because if you've got Blake Bortles throwing more than 25 passes in this game, I think you will lose.
Jenna, who did you pick?
I have went for the Seahawks. I can't see anything other than a Seahawks win. I think Jacksonville's built to only lead. I think they see it as a pattern. Even Lee Jackson was telling Maurice Jones to do that. If we got 3 points, then we've won the game. That's all we need. Just a field goal and we'll believe we'll win the game. But the opposite is, I think Seattle, if they score first, I don't think they have any ability to come back to Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm. I know, it's a good point. Okay, well, we'll move on to another tasty contest. Pittsburgh Steelers just coming off the back of a brutal game against the Cincinnati Bengals on Monday Night Football. They have got their closest rivals in Pittsburgh, in the Baltimore Ravens. This one is one of the hardest picks for me of the weekend because, as I've just mentioned, coming off the back of one brutal game in the Bengals and then going into the hatred that is the Ravens-Steelers rivalry, and you're on a little bit of a short week because of the Monday Night Football, I think this is a ridiculously close game to call. Geno, how do you see it playing out, mate?
I've went for the Steelers, but I'm not confident in it. I just believe in Antonio Brown. That's it. I believe in Antonio Brown. I mean, Jimmy Smith's going to miss this game, is that right? So I believe who's going to cover Antonio Brown? And no one can cover him when you have your number 1 there, when you're going to put number 2 near him. I don't see anyone being able to cover. I think he's good. It's going to be a low scoring, but I think he's going to break the game open late.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the exact same for me. You can even see on my paper here, I had Baltimore down, and then I did change it to Pittsburgh when I realised Smith wasn't going to play. If it was in Baltimore, I'd probably pick Baltimore. I think it's that close. I think this game, it'll probably be a field goal. I mean, Pittsburgh have won their last 2 games now with the last second field goals against pretty average defenses. You know, the Packers defense isn't anything special, and the Bengals defense isn't anything special. Pittsburgh are going to be without Shazier, which will be a blow to them, obviously. They're lucky Antonio Brown's playing because George Love tried to kill him. Yeah. So they're very lucky that he got out the way of that and kept hold of the ball. They're very fortunate for that. Obviously, Juju's going to be suspended as well, so that'll hurt their offense against a very good Baltimore defense. I just think in very close games, and that's what it is, you go with the playmakers, and I agree. Antonio Brown's he won't win the MVP because quarterbacks win the MVP, but he's having an MVP season. He has been out of this world good. He should win Offensive Player of the Year at the least. I think he deserves that much recognition because he's been absolutely fantastic. And for that reason, I'm going to say Pittsburgh. But I'm with Geno. I'm not like 100% confident at all.
Yeah, I've picked the Steelers as well. There is another sort of back burner to this story as well, I suppose, in the narrative of this game is obviously the Steelers are 10-2 in their division. Second in the division is the Baltimore Ravens, 7-5, but they're in the 6th place for the wild card at the moment. Excuse me. LA Chargers actually play the Washington Redskins. I know I'm shooting ahead a little bit here, but I fancy the Chargers to win that game. Yeah. And then if the Steelers beat the Ravens, then that would put the Chargers and the Ravens on the same type of a field, do you know what I mean? So for Pittsburgh Steelers to be able to almost have a hand in knocking the Ravens out of the wild card race adds another level of spice to this fixture, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, listen, it can.
If you could follow that.
No, I completely understand. Yeah. You know, Baltimore are in the playoffs as we stand as a wild card. They're not going to win the division, but yeah, I'm with you. It's a big game for them. You know, it's a big test for them. They come through the Lions test pretty well last week, obviously, but they were at home. This is on the road against, you know, the best team in the conference. Well, one of the best teams in the conference, one of the best teams in the league. It's a tough ask to go to Pittsburgh and win, and I agree though. You know, the short week factor and the injuries and all that. I think this again, I wouldn't be surprised if this is like 13-10, 16-13.
Isn't every Baltimore Steelers game 13-10?
Along that kind of thing, because even when these teams are, you know, even when Baltimore are absolute rubbish, they play the Pittsburgh Steelers well, and they're not rubbish now. They've got the best defense, or one of the best defenses in the league.
They know each other so well.
Yeah, it's one of those. I don't think it'll be as violent as the Bengals Steelers rivalry, because that's just like hatred now. I think this is more a sporting rivalry than that. But I just think, like I say, that it's the Bell and Brown factor that just, it's hard to pick against them at home.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And this is the game, apart from Vikings games, that I look forward to most on the calendar. I love watching these Ravens-Steelers games. Yeah. I always have done, and I think I always will do. So we'll move on then. My Minnesota Vikings against the Carolina Panthers. I'd like to know, Geno, why you think the Carolina Panthers, if you do, will beat the Minnesota Vikings.
I don't. I believe the Vikings are probably the best team in the NFL. I mean, they now have the first seed in the NFC, which is probably the superior conference. I think their defense is brilliant, the offense is brilliant. The only questions is over the quarterback who's playing out of his skin, so it's not really a question. And I think the Panthers, I think we've seen with the Saints handling them, that they're a very good team, but I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender team, whereas I believe in this Vikings team.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. I've gone Vikings as well for that reason. I think, Cam Newton and the offense is really struggling to score points, and they're playing, the Vikings defense is out of this world. It slowed down an amazing Atlanta offense, and I think it'll slow down this Carolina offense as well. And I just, it's going to sound crazy because I keep saying it, but I trust Case Keenum to score points against them, which is, it's bizarro world. But that's what we're living in now. You've got to judge him not on what he has been and on what he is now. And it's almost like, do you remember a couple of years ago when Ryan Fitzpatrick was good? And it took a while to enter the frame of mind where actually this lad isn't a liability. And he might not be a good quarterback, but he's a good quarterback in this scheme, in this team right now. And that's where we're at with Case Keenum. You've got to judge him on what he's doing. And he's tearing better teams than Carolina apart. And I think it won't be with, again, I keep saying this, it won't be deep throws, it won't be big bombs. It'll just be dump offs, little short passes, keep the clock moving, and then trust your defense. And I'm kind of with Geno in that. If Vikings go 6 up, it's hard to envisage Carolina coming back because they're just playing that well. And I don't think this will even be a particularly close game.
Well, how do you think then? I'll tell you what, I'll do this one. If I was to say, I've picked the Vikings as well, by the way. But I'm trying to think of a way where Carolina win this game. Because I think it's go on.
They take away the run. If Carolina take away the run, because people keep forgetting how well Murray and McKinnon are running the ball and how well their offensive lines are. If they take away the run, I think they have a chance. Because the more you've got Keenan throwing, if he's throwing it 40 times, then you have more of an opportune secondary to give Cam Newton short field. That's how I think they win.
Anyone who's tried to do that over the last few weeks, though, has just ran into what Steve was saying, the dink and dunk. Because that, Case Keenum's playing inside himself almost as well, and that's what I think people aren't realising at the moment. There have been games this season where people have tried to take away the run, and Case Keenum's broke massive games out of it, and he's hit long balls. So it's very difficult. From an offensive standpoint then, Steve, how do you see the Carolina Panthers beating the Vikings D? Because normally I'd say maybe it's McCaffrey, but Kendricks is perfect to match up against him.
It's Cam Newton running. That's how they win. The Cam's, as good as that defense is, Cam's bigger than them all. So you have to get Cam on design runs, on maybe scramble drills and stuff, and then once Cam's running, that's how McCaffrey gets space. Because as good as Kendricks and Barr and whoever else might be defending the run are, McCaffrey in space has the ability to beat those, and the way you get him in space is by making people, someone has to spy Cam, or someone's down in the box to stop Cam Newton, because Jonathan Stewart's going to do nothing in this game. He's going to be nothing. He hasn't been for a while. He's just like, they're giving it to him just because they feel like they have to almost. Where that's the only way I can see it happening, because I can't see Cam picking apart the Vikings secondary. It's too good, and I don't think he's a good enough passer, and I don't think they're going to be able to just run the ball conventionally. So I think it's going to be one of those games where Cam gets like 80 yards rushing, and even then it's not like guaranteed they'd win. I think this won't even be close. I think Minnesota by a few.
There is a little something else hanging over this game, kind of like the last one we discussed. Obviously, the Carolina Panthers right now are in a wild card slot, the 6th in the NFC. They're on 8-4. The New Orleans Saints top the NFC South, their division, on 9-3. But the New Orleans Saints, will come on to it later. They play the Atlanta Falcons on Thursday night, so they'll know the result of that. Now, if it's a bad result for the Saints, that is really going to spur on the Carolina Panthers on Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. And likewise, if Atlanta win, they then are level with Carolina in the wild card race, and it becomes a big muddle up, doesn't it? Like I said, people watching this might already know the result of that game, but in truth, I'm not sure it matters that much, because ultimately Carolina just need 2 or 3 more wins. And
I don't know. I think hope in sports does provide motivation.
Yeah, I suppose
if your hope's almost snuffed out because the Saints win, it's hard to bounce back from that. We've seen it in football over the years, you know what I mean? And I think if you dangle that carrot, the Panthers players might give you that extra 5%.
Yeah, and the crowd, it could affect it. It's a good home field advantage Carolina have got, but to be honest, I think Minnesota are just a much better team in every department. They're a better defence and they're a better offence. So I think you've got to, even on the road.
Better special teams as well.
Yeah, the special. Yeah,
I think we're all in agreement.
So that's that. I'm probably the biggest Carolina fan here. I think it's fair to say that. And I said in the last show, I don't think they're a Super Bowl team, and I think the Vikings are very much a Super Bowl team.
Okay, well, we'll go on to the Saints-Falcons game next Thursday Night Football. Apologies if that's already played out. I'm going to pick the New Orleans Saints. Mainly because of Drew Brees, once again. And now, listen, I don't know whether Latimore's going to be back for this game or not, but the fact that the Saints defence was able to stand up last time out without him and put in a much better performance than the week before is a big deal to me. And also the fact that sometimes I think teams struggle when they go into a dome. That's not going to really affect the Saints in any way, shape or form. Obviously, they're used to it as well. So I think that'll have something. I'm not sure about the turf differences, if I'm honest. I know that some of the dome turfs are slightly different to each other. Some are a little bit more spongy than others. I'm not going to get nerdy on it. I have no idea what the difference is in the field are. If you know, let me know in the comments section below. I'm basing it purely on the fact that there's not going to be much wind. So there you go. That's my analysis for that one. Jeno, how do you see this game going?
I've gone for the Saints as well. I think the Saints got this excellent running game. It's really fast. And I think the Atlanta Falcons defense, though it was built on speed, has looked slow. If you get me, it hasn't been what we thought it was. It's like that explosiveness. It's like that explosiveness since the Super Bowl, since the second half, basically. It's not as good as we thought it was going to be. It hasn't made the leap this season. And then on the other side, Julio got wiped out the other day. I mean, how have you let
Great defence he came up against. Really
Xavier Rhodes.
I know, but I'm saying, but then if Lattimore is back, I think that can happen again. I think you can wipe Julio out again. And that's why I just believe in the Saints team.
Yeah, everyone's Saints, and I'll just say Ingram and Kamara are going to have that's enough
for me. Day. That is a day for Ingram and Kamara. Okay, Steve, come on to the Indianapolis Colts Buffalo Bills for me.
Yeah, I've got the Bills at home if Tyrod plays. He's day to day, and if not, I don't care.
Jeno?
I've got the Bills, but I don't care either way.
I've got the Bills. And I don't care. So we'll move on to the Chicago Bears against the Cincinnati Bengals. I've gone for the Bengals in this one, mainly because the Bears are really shit.
Yeah, I've gone for the Bengals because they actually try and play offense. They believe it's a thing.
Are you accusing John Fox of not playing offense?
John Fox's
1,000,000%.
John Fox's offense is like, can Tariq Cohen do something once, maybe, and that's it.
Yeah. No. Okay, then we'll move on to a team that two of us don't care about. In fact, three of us don't care about. It's the Cleveland Browns versus the team that two of us don't give a shit about, the Green Bay Packers. Steve.
Hello.
Tell me the Cleveland Browns are going to win this game.
It wouldn't be a shock. Honestly, it wouldn't be the biggest shock. I promise you it wouldn't be the biggest shock in the world. Brett Hundley's absolute shit. He is like shit. 84 yards and it went to overtime. 84 yards. I'd fancy my chances of getting 84 yards at an NFL game. I'd just dump it off to Jordy Nelson a few times and hope he runs it.
But let's be honest, the Browns aren't the Bucks.
Yeah, are you sure?
I don't know.
That W column says that they're definitely not the Bucks.
But it's in Cleveland. But listen, I'm picking the Packers ultimately because I think they're a bit, obviously, more well-rounded team, and I'm not sure Deshaun Kaiser is that much better than Brett Hundley at the moment, which goes against everything I thought he was going to be. I thought he was going to be good, but I thought Brett Hundley was going to be good. So
Gordon going to have a field day, Jeno?
I hope so. I mean, I want the Browns to win. I think it'll be funny, but I'm going for Green Bay. I don't think anything's going to happen.
I've gone for Green Bay Packers, but I do think Gordon's going to have a good game.
He probably will. And listen, if the Packers win this, we spoke about it on the last show, they are very much in the playoff mix. So they need to go. If you go to Cleveland and lose, that is so embarrassing.
That'd be such a good way to be eliminated from the playoffs.
There would be no better way.
You should be eliminated from the NFL.
That would be perfect. I mean, if you can make that happen for me, Steve, I'd be really happy. I don't mind playing in a three-team division.
Yeah, I'll see what I think.
I wouldn't miss the rivalry.
Wouldn't you?
No, not at all.
You wouldn't miss Aaron Rodgers?
No,
I miss him loads.
I
miss him so much.
I bet you tent at home.
Aaron Rodgers
about him.
He gets more than one play, 84 yards. You can do that in a sleep. You can get 84 yards.
How many games is that in?
Oh, it's ridiculous. Unbelievable. Honestly, unbelievable.
Okay, we'll move it on then.
It's so bad.
We'll move on to Oakland Raiders at the Kansas City Chiefs. Jeno, who have you gone for and why?
I've went for Oakland because
went for.
Yeah, because I think isn't it Oakland
usually for?
Yeah.
We're supposed to be teaching these Americans English here, mate.
I've gone for.
I don't care.
It's fair. You can't complain.
No, I went for Oakland. I'm going to keep saying it. I went for Oakland because I believe isn't it Oakland usually beats Kansas City, then Kansas City beats the Chargers, but the Chargers always beat Oakland. I think that's the way the triangle works, so that's why I went for that way.
Yeah, I've gone Kansas City because the Oakland defense is boo-boo. And
Oh, we're doing that again. I'm game for it.
yeah, it's really bad. And to be fair, Kansas City found their offensive game. Is Andy Reid giving play calls up? I think I'm right in saying that. And they got the vertical offense going once again. Oakland can't stop anybody, and they're really short on receivers, aren't they? So I think Kansas City bounce back, and they need to bounce back.
Well, yeah, the division's close.
It's
It's pretty close.
everyone's 6-6.
Yeah, bar the Broncos.
Oh yeah, because they're poo-poo. Yeah, very poo-poo. So I think Kansas City win, and that almost does for Oakland if they do. I think that's pretty much Oakland done.
Okay.
I think
yeah,
it's
I've gone
done.
Chiefs.
Whoever loses is done. I think that's very much.
If the Chargers win, which we all presume, we all think they will beat Washington. So yeah, I think that's a big ask if you lose this one. And
Very much so. So okay, the next game we're going to cover is the Dallas Cowboys at the New York Giants. Obviously, Ben McAdoo fired. Looks like Eli Manning will be back in at quarterback for the Giants. Does anybody really think it's going to make a difference?
Absolutely zero.
No, I think Dallas will win by a lot. I think, yeah, that's that.
I think that the New York Giants are out of the playoff picture.
They should be out the NFL as well, but they're dreadful. Yeah, I think Dallas by pretty handy, especially because Dak's healthy. He said his hand's fine. And yeah, although the Giants might get a bit of bounce back, the fans and obviously getting rid of Ben McAdoo, it might be addition by subtraction almost, but I just think that Dallas is a much better team.
Yeah, more well-rounded, more weapons, that. Detroit Lions, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, the Detroit Lions are currently lying 8th in the NFC. Atlanta ahead of them, 7-5. Carolina Panthers, 8-4. They're on 6-6, the Detroit Lions, coming up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's a big game for the Detroit Lions. Have we heard any more about Matt Stafford's hand?
The last quote, again, as we record today, was Jim Caldwell said he's not out of the woods yet, which is, he's not going to be 100% even if he plays. It's a bad bruise, it's not a break, which is fine. Well, it's not fine, but it's not as horrendous. I'm picking the Bucs at home. I think, having watched their defense up close and personal, I think they're good enough to stop. And again, until the Lions prove me wrong, we're going to keep saying that. I think they're soft. And I think a road game that you need to win, I don't trust them, so I think they're gonna falter, and that ultimately I'm picking the Bucs at home.
Okay, Jeno?
I'm going with the Lions. I do agree that they're soft, but I think they're going to string it out one more week, even though really they're not making the playoffs.
I've gone for the Lions as well, and the reason I've gone for the Lions is I go for them every week and they never win. I'm kind of happy with that. I mean, they're 6-6 at the moment, and every week I go, I think they're going to do it this week. I think they're going to get through, and if I get this pick wrong, I'm fully not arsed. So there you go. We're going straight to San Francisco 49ers coming off the back of Jimmy G's win. And then we're going to go, and they're going into Houston to face the Texans. I think the Houston Texans are going to have slightly too much for the 49ers this time around. Obviously in the last game Jimmy got the win for them, but that offense wasn't looking too great. Texans with all their injuries. I think this one's going to be really close, to be honest, and it was a bit of a coin flick for me.
Yeah, I've gone San Francisco because I am all in on Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he's absolutely fantastic. I've thought it since every time I've seen him. I think he's great. I think Tom Savage is the poo-poo. The difference is, his weapons. That's the Hopkins weapon. The weapon he's got in DeAndre Hopkins. Is just unbelievable. He is so good. But I'm gonna go. I think the 49ers defense is pretty good. If I'm honest, I don't think it's exceptional, but I think it's good enough. And I just trust Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he's excellent. I think he's really good.
Yeah, I'm going 49ers. I mean, I love Jimmy Garoppolo, and I think he's just going to tear them apart.
Okay.
He's so good looking.
Yeah, I know. I know you think that.
He is so good looking. It's ridiculous.
Of all the quarterbacks in the NFL, Sting,
yes.
Who do you want to hug the most?
Who would I have to hug the most? Aaron Rodgers, just to make him feel better. If it was a purely sexual thing, then it's Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jeno?
I'd hug Tom Brady, it doesn't matter. Just
for both reasons. You can get away with that for both reasons as well.
And maybe hug his wife if she'll let me.
Would you suck his fingers?
Oh. I'm glad you have fingers.
If he had the rings on.
Lick my ring. Moving on.
I was hoping he'd say that. Okay, so we're going to move on then. New York Jets at the Denver Broncos. I picked the Jets. Well, it's bad, isn't it? They're still in the playoff picture.
Sort of, they're not, but they are. But honestly, the Broncos are really bad. Like, really bad.
This is the most Jetsy thing ever. We want to tank the season and get the first overall pick, scam for Sam, and they're going to go 8-8.
They are much better than Denver. Denver are one of the worst teams in the league. They're like absolute crap. Yeah. They've lost 8 straight. Let's make it 9. If you lose to the Jets at home and just you know what, pan in on John Elway in his little box because it's his fault. Because he built that Super Bowl winning team in free agency, fantastic. You know, you win and got a Super Bowl ring. It's well worth it. His drafting has been absolutely so bad for so long, and eventually that catches up to you because there's only so many. You can only pay so many free agents, and they get old and they leave. You can't pay some of your stars because you've got them, so that's why Malik Jackson's no longer there, for example. And his drafting's been horrendous. So Paxton Lynch looks like he's a bust, and he's going to be gone. And they're going to draft a quarterback next year. Monte Ball, remember him? He was a high pick. They've gone bad draft after bad draft after bad draft, and this is what you get. You've got no quarterback, you've got no offensive line, you've got no running game. You've got a pretty good defence that just looks like it's fell.
But it's waning because they're tired.
It's just fallen to bits.
I don't think the middle of the defence is that good.
Yeah,
I think that's what they missed. The real strong middle of the defence. Now it's just on the outside.
Because obviously Danny Trevathan left, didn't he? They've lost the key pieces in the middle.
Is this a classic case of trying to buy success for the short term and not the long term with the Broncos?
Yeah, and I don't mind that because ultimately they won.
They the Vikings have never won the Super Bowl. I'd take a little bit of that.
2 Super Bowls in 3 years. I mean, it worked. Essentially.
He got them to 2 Super Bowls, he won one of them. That worked. But when you do that, coming out the other end, this is what happens. Unless you constantly draft well, and that's what the good teams do, you either draft well, or you've got the worldy quarterback that helps you, win games no matter what. And Denver are going through that cycle now if they've drafted really poorly and, chickens come home to roost. I'm not convinced that John Elway's a good drafter. Well, in fact, I'm not convinced. I know he's not, whoever that is, so that's something that they need to look at going forward.
Okay, Titans versus Cardinals. Do you know which way do you think this one's going to go?
I had picked the Cardinals, but now I'm sitting here, I'm going to change and go Titans. I'm just going to change right now.
I've gone Titans.
I've gone Cardinals at home.
Why?
I don't think Tennessee are very good.
Okay. Fair enough. We'll move on then. A game that we might actually want to talk about a little bit is the Washington Redskins at the LA Chargers. Oh, that's starting to feel normal.
La Chargers.
La Chargers. Le Français.
Well, I was going for the Spanish.
Ah.
But there's no other game.
No, yeah, French would be Le.
Yeah.
Le and La. Male and female.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh,
L.
I only ever did Spanish show La.
L and La, yeah. So they're still female in either pronunciation. I said on the last show, Chargers are the 3rd best team in the AFC, and I stand by it. I think they're really good, and I think they're going to win this game pretty handy. I think Kirk Cousins is going to see a lot of Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram.
Yeah, I've went for Chargers as well. I think we're finally, we all predicted the Chargers to win the division, and we looked like idiots in week 4. Now we're going to look like geniuses because they're going to win the division, and they're going to be the hottest team going into the playoffs, which is a worry.
I'm predicting now.
Saints, surely.
In the AFC, I think I'm predicting
right.
that the Chargers get to the title game. I think they're going to beat someone, whether it's New England or Pittsburgh.
Jenna, anything you want to say about that? Chargers beating the Patriots?
I've been scared of the Chargers. I said it before the season, I was scared of the Chargers. We played the Chargers, we beat them, but we beat them by kicking field goals because we couldn't move on that defence. So,
early on in the season, I went Steelers, Patriots, but I think the Chargers are going to be that team who sneak in on a big run. Like they're going to have to win out, and I think they're going to be on a roll, and I think they're going to do very, very well in the play. They're built to play playoff football.
Okay. Final game then: New England Patriots, Miami Dolphins. We've saved the worst for last.
Patriots by 1 billion.
Patriots.
There you go. Thanks very much for watching. I'm really enjoyed not letting Jenno speak about the New England Patriots this week, just as much as I enjoyed making Steve talk about the Green Bay Packers. If you've enjoyed both of those things and the fact that the Vikings are one of the best teams in the NFL, give the video a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow these two on Twitter. Twitter handle is...
Steve.
TD Jenno.
TD Jenno. Just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Thanks for joining me once again, gentlemen. It's been an absolute pleasure, as it always is. Like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time on Cover 2.
TV.
TV.
Bye.